Ridiculous. I want to bring trolls. Okay, buy 3 packs of trolls and you have your fucking army.
Right. He did
Welcome to
it.
Big M's Power Hour. Once again, all you Warhammers and Warhammies.
Episode 66 of the Strength Hammer podcast with Big M coming in hot and fast over something that you will never know, because that's why we start recording at the end of the joke.
Uh-huh.
That way you don't know who we're talking about. So, boys, we're going to be in Nashville in a few days. Neil, when do you go down? You're flying with the wife.
I will be driving to the airport at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Nice. So, okay. Very nice.
So me and my wife are going to bum around Nashville for a couple days before I get to do my nerd thing. So
it's fun. That's fun.
Uh-huh.
Well, Matt, you and I are driving down Friday.
Mm-hmm.
A brand new car.
Mm-hmm.
What time do I need to get to your house by? Or what's the earliest I can get to your house and you won't be mad at me? That's the real question.
So you could probably get there about 4:30 and I won't kill you. That's, okay. Or I'll answer the door.
Okay. All right, we can do that. I'm excited for Nashcon because I finally get to go to one. I've been trying for 3 years now and either got sick or work got in the way. Now it's just like have a better job and I'm healthy right now. Knock on wood, because I'm still fine.
Awesome.
Hey, Neil,
talk amongst yourself.
Should we get into some fitness?
No, get out of here, fitness.
Yeah,
all right, fitness.
We can do fitness. Neil, go first.
I watched my daughter play soccer this week. I'm afraid the running came to a screeching halt this week. It has been crazy busy. So I got to watch other people be athletic. I did coach my my son's team, and it involved a lot of running around, but I can't really claim that as something I went out to do to exercise.
So I just watched the entire season of Welcome to Wrexham, the docu-series about the team Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds bought, like the soccer team.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. Yeah,
really good. I mean, if you like those leagues,
spoilers, bro.
It's really good. But if you're a coach, it seems to be if you just scream fuck and yell a lot, your blood pressure gets up as if you are working out and get all sweaty. Did you hit that? Did you hit that with the kids?
That's what I need a stroke.
Yeah. Did you get a stroke?
That's right. A lot of rehab after a stroke, so that'll definitely get me on the fitness train.
That's good. Matt, how is your fitness?
I actually have been trying to move around a little bit since I injured my knee 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Been trying to keep it, because if I move it too much, it hurts. If I don't move it enough, it hurts. So I gotta find a middle ground. And since I've been working on my display board in the basement, I've gone up and down the stairs about 1,000 times to the point where I started hurting my other knee.
I see Neil's brain, like, with his knowledge, just like calculations are happening and he's trying to ignore it. It's good. I'm continuing to go to the gym regularly. Nothing else has really changed. I am doing much better with the sugar. Like, I've cut back quite a bit. I feel really good. I don't feel instantly healthy, but like
the way you said that makes it sound like there's a guy at the gym who's giving you a hard time called the sugar.
The sugar. He benches more than me, all right? It's fine. A lot of people
always
do.
One more plate, son of a bitch.
Bench is my weakness, so it's fine. But no, like the cravings are down. I'm treating it more as a treat. The dessert that me and my wife have switched to is just frozen fruit. Pick it up at a grocery store. It's great. And that really fills the need. Actually, to the point where I had an ice cream cone from like the local ice cream shop. And like it was just a small, by the time I finished it, I'm like, that was too sweet. I'm like, okay, it's working. Getting off that sugar fix. And next thing is to cut back on the alcohol a little more. So we're gonna try that next. So I'm taking a few days off. Obviously, Nashcon's gonna be an exception.
Cheers.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
If we go downtown Nashcon, then the
Oh, listen. But that's
or
the thing. Like,
Nashcon.
I want to try and make also alcohol consumption more as like a treat. Like, it's not something that's every other day or something like that. Like, if it's like once or twice a week, but it's because I'm in Nashcon with the boys or I'm gaming with the boys. You know, I'm just drinking during Warhammer. That's the problem, I think.
You play a lot of Warhammer.
So I play a lot of Warhammer. I need to stop it. All right, next, after that, quitting Warhammer.
Right.
All right.
Podcast comes to a screeching. Oh,
No.
welcome
I'm gonna sit here. I'll talk Taylor Swift.
Welcome to the Strength Podcast.
Welcome to the Street
What'd you take
Fighter
it?
Hammer podcast, where I talk about Street Fighter. Be
where I
bad at
can't drink because my hands are on a controller.
Hey, if you can be bad at Warhammer, you can be bad at Street Fighter. Me and Matt are proving that.
That's true. Speaking of being bad at Warhammer, time to talk about some lists today, isn't it?
It is, because I don't think we need to talk specifically about any hobby right now, because all of our hobbies focused on preparation for Nashcon.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh, you know what? There's one thing I want to show for hobby.
yeah.
On the prior show, I talked about how I was going to paint this up for Matt. He was going to get it in whatever state I bring it to him, no matter what. And there she is. There's
Wow.
That's
pretty
beautiful.
nice.
That's
I think,
beautiful.
You know, I mean,
Wow.
as terrain goes. So,
Yeah.
So there it is.
That's awesome.
So,
You know, Matt.
Gorgeous.
Now,
Yeah, thank you so much, buddy.
Matt has more painted terrain on his display board than he has in his actual table for his
I know.
house. It's crazy.
Well,
Like, just rip
that's
that
not
board
true.
apart.
I have 2 painted realm gates, and I have the Dragonspire Dias painted. So that's 3 pieces.
Well, there you go.
As I was painting it, I'm like, this is going to be on the table every time I come over to his house to play.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is nothing.
Well, especially because me and Matt had a hobby day this past weekend with our monthly group that's not Warhammer. Me and Matt are the Warhammer people in it. So we have a box of terrain at that house. So if Matt and I ever want to play, we don't have to bring terrain over. Just bring our armies. We have like those cardboard boards. It's a little weak, but it's fine. And Matt, I dry brushed the entire table of terrain in 2 hours, and you still don't have a table worth of terrain? Come on, man. What are you doing?
Being nice.
That's the quality you get over Big M's Power Hour. It's all right.
I like that he didn't have anything to say. He's like, I can't actually argue that.
Well, I'm just myself, just being nice. That's all.
You could just
He's
bring
been shamed.
you could bring terrain to that monthly meetup, and you and I would paint it together. It'd be fine. Be done.
Look, if I'm gonna paint something, I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna make it look nice. Could be 2 thin coats. It's gonna be.
You're gonna use contrast, and it's gonna look awful.
Yep.
You're gonna use contrast, and that's why I'm not gonna let you do it.
You know what contrast is good for basing. I found it's really good for basing and display.
Well, again, whenever you use contrast as much as I do, you get a little proficient with it. That's
fair.
Contrast is great.
Oh, actually, I have a small hobby announcement. Unless Matt, do you have any hobby that's not related to Nashcon you want to mention, or have you been all Nashcon?
all natural.
Okay. My hobby is yesterday, as the day of recording, yesterday was August 15th, which is Emperor Napoleon's birthday. To celebrate, I went up to my FLGS to Norm up there, and I said, Norm, I need you to assemble and purchase for me a Napoleonic's army. That's the celebration I had. And I also ate an eclair because I stopped at a French pastry place during work. It was just like, sure, why not? Let's have fun. But like I said, it treats as a special occasion. Napoleon's birthday. That was fun, right? So I look forward to a year's time where I somehow manage to drag you guys into Napoleonics with me.
Not gonna happen.
Not a chance. I will
You're
play
not.
Another game of Conquest before I play Napoleonics.
Oh yeah. What?
Actually, to be fair, I can get you guys into a lot. I know the limits of my power. I'm not even trying. Like, that's me and my buddy Mark. We're the only ones,
Yeah.
and that is fine.
That's a hard line for me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not even tempting it. It's just perfectly fine. But yes. Anyway, Nashcon. Before we begin, we should lay out our grand plan. I know we've mentioned it before, but this episode I want to be all encompassing to what Nashcon is for the lead up, and then obviously we'll do probably a show after, maybe a week or two after, for the post show. But Matt, why don't you tell us what our plan is between the three of us for Nashcon, and why I have the three of us on today?
Well, that's easy. That's easy enough. So the three of us are going to have our own little mini competition to see who's the most Duarden.
Is it the most Duarden or the most KO? I would argue most KO.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
because
Grugny's favor.
Okay, sure.
If I could just put a little challenge out to the people who are listening right now, I would love for you to put in the comments who you think is going to win this weekend amongst us three. Give us your votes. Who you think is going to take it home?
Mm-hmm.
And our next podcast, we'll see what happens there. Whether the people are right.
I'd like to give some background information for people who plan on voting. I have brought KO to more events than both of these two combined. So,
considering for me it's 0, yes.
It's going to be terrible when you lose.
All right, so to go into a little more detail, let's flash back a little bit. So everyone tuck in. This might be a little bit longer than an hour show. So was it 9? Whenever Nashcon tickets went up, originally the four of us plus Cole from Big M's Power Hour, we were all going to go, and we were all going to do the same sort of thing, which is essentially who places the best out of us, but we all take the same faction. Because we know none of us are going to push for the top awards. We're going to have fun mostly, roll some dice, but let's make it a little competitive amongst us, which is our equal level essentially. So we were going to do Khorne. Then Cole had to get married and get a job and has to go to Italy, and he's not going. So he was out. And I forget which one of you guys mentioned it, because I'm not sure if we were just going to not have the competition or if we switched immediately. But someone mentioned we all have KO.
I think it's pretty immediate. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. It was pretty immediate. Yeah, I was like, as much as I wouldn't mind having a Khorne army, I don't know about starting a Khorne army right now for just the three of us whenever we might have already other armies that work.
Right, and that was also back in Bounty Hunter days. Now, if we knew what we knew now, the anti-magic meta,
probably would have stuck with Khorne.
Probably would have wanted Khorne, yeah, man. Matt would have had a Khorne army right now.
Yeah, it would have been much more competitive, but and I might have been able to use that battle tome that I still have not cracked open.
Oh, jeez. You gotta crack it open, at least put the code in your My Warhammer. Come on.
I mean, the code's in there, but it's I haven't really looked at it.
All right, so we switched to Caradron Overlords because we all have that army and we could all just beef it up a little bit if we felt like it. And essentially, whoever places the highest out of the three of us at the Nashcon event will win our own little mini award. So it's a nice way to...
It is Nashcon. That is actually what wins Nashcon, is this competition.
That's true.
Everything else is a secondary competition.
I'll handwrite that in the contract. So, and I'll see if I can't get David to sign that. Actually, I might see if like I gotta explain all this crap to David. He's gonna be like, "What the hell's going on?" I'm like, "Can you just officiate the signing of this document? It's 10 pages. We have to sign a couple pages, initial a few, because why not?"
Yeah,
but that would make it more fun, I think.
You should like print up like a real small like third or like other like one more award to just like they're just best KO, and whoever gets top KO, you just walk over to them and go, "Here, you jackass," and then just walk away.
And just don't even say a word about it. Just hand it, look what you want.
See, I could do that if I put a QR code down to Big M's Power, or not Big M's Power, to Strength Hammer to this episode. Problem is, this episode's going to release just for fun. I'm releasing it at the start of round 1 at Nashcon. Yeah. So we wrote up. ChatGPT. Let's be honest. I went to ChatGPT and I was like, write me a Caradron contract between, and I put in, I'm Fleet Maxava. Matt, you are.
Grugny's Reclaimers.
And Neil, you are.
Grumdrinson, Forge Hearts, Flying Circus.
Yes. So we all have our fleet names. So I asked ChatGPT to make a contract between the three of those things. And it did like 80% of the way there. I had to tweak a few things, like, but it really all it says is whoever wins, whoever does best at the Nashcon event between us is the strongest and gets to hold the contract because the contract is the award.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah, and I bought
So right back there, it's gonna look good right up on that wall back there. Yeah.
I'm not going to let you hold it on your house.
But yeah, but also then actually this is more recently, right before I printed it all out. Just for fun, I threw in
printed it all out. I need to get my list printed. Shit, thank you.
No, you're welcome. Yeah, you do. Otherwise, we're stopping like Kinko's on the way down. But then I also decided, like, hey guys, just because it's a KO contract, being one page seems silly. Let's just fill it with crap. So there's, I went to what was it, the Lexiconum, and just grabbed random lore sections, like the founding of the KO, the founding of the code, and then Matt had the idea, like random, like every other page, it just says this page purposely left blank, dictated but not read. And then at the bottom of each page, I put like a little initial section. So like it's a true KO contract where it's mostly useless, like any contract really. But yeah, so that's the basis of what we're doing. So we all have KO, and we're all actually taking kind of different flavors of KO, which is kind of neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think one of us is running the same. You might be playing Urbaz, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have one Urbaz list as well. So.
Okay,
so,
one.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember, man.
So you guys are the ones actually trying. I see. So if I beat you, it's gonna be even more beautiful with Barrack Thrang.
I try. I always try.
I'm gonna try too, but
that's what makes it even more pathetic. Oh god.
I mean, we all have our book of grudges. Don't forget that, Neil, when you leave the house. Make sure you have that.
That's true. I got to make sure I got that with me.
Yeah. I'm going to message you right now. I'm gonna make sure you send me a picture of it sitting in your luggage.
We will be packing tonight. Yeah. So
Matt, don't forget as well. I mean, yours should be with your army. So.
Oh no, I have one Zilfin and one Zon.
Oh, I've got Zon as well. So.
Yeah, I had to go Zilfin so I could get the frigate as a battle line.
Oh, that's right. I switched that. Yeah. We talked about that.
I went Barrack Thrang both times because I used, what was it, the command trait X Grunstruck to switch up my battle line to make my lists work.
I had to do that as well. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
I had literally mine is for the one list I had to go Zilfin to get a frigate to count as a battle line. Then I go X Grunstock to get the Thunderer to count as a battle line, and then I had to include an Engine Master so I could get the Engine Riggers to count as a battle line.
I mean, to be honest, let's just kind of like walk through our lists basically. Like Matt,
sure.
Do your list, your list A. Like, just give us the rundown of it.
Yeah. So we'll go here with the kind of the primary one. It's pretty simplistic. What it boils down to is I have an ironclad and a frigate.
Mm-hmm.
The ironclad is filled with 15 Thunderers that are acting as battle line. In that is going to basically be an admiral and an engine master. And then in the frigate, we're going to put a navigator and 9 engine riggers.
Yeah,
so it is.
You already beat me with that list with my main list.
But so the only thing that I found is that I had the Great Engine Works set up. I forget how they were before, but I switched. I had the Magnificent Omniscope on the frigate to give it the 2 extra inches until I fought Ben, and he just fucked my frigate straight into the goddamn ground with like I had them just out of range just so I could do some shooting, and he pulled it so he was using Beast of Chaos, and so he used the I forget what it is. They're like spell not spells.
Okay.
And so he had the one thing go off, so then my frigate had to go 2d 6 inches directly towards the caster, and of course he rolled like 10. So it was already over, and then he just poured everything on top of it. And so I struggled so hard to do anything with those engine riggers. But that's why I switched over to Prudency Shoots. So now I can deploy straight into combat if that happens again. Hopefully not, but if
you
it
leave
does,
them in the boat forever unless that boat
right,
dies. Yeah.
right. The only reason why I would ever the only reason you would pop anything out using assault boat is if you had multiple units. And
Yeah.
so, right, because then you have multiple things with fight first. So maybe if you wanted to fill it with 6 admirals or something, you could do that. But but other than that, like I said, with engine riggers only having a 1-inch reach, yeah, there's outside of keeping them in the boat, there's no reason to take them in a block of 9.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, what's your grand strategy? What's some of your items you got?
Oh,
Give us a lowdown.
I go with the same grand strat for everything, for all these because
You sold me on this one too. This is the one I switched to.
yeah, rule the skies.
Yeah. Well,
Oh my.
yeah. When Matt was telling me that, he's like, "Well, okay, let's go to Games Workshop and let's see how many flying behemoths there are." I'm like, 2, and it's in KO.
Right.
And I forget what the other one's.
Yeah,
at.
honestly, there's
Cities?
there's something in cities. I forget what it is. There's something in cities, and then there is
Technically KO.
yeah. Well, no, nothing is behemoth in KO, but it says no other ships. Well, no, actually it says when the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are 1 or more friendly sky vessels in the battlefield, and there are no enemy behemoths that can fly on the battlefield.
Yep.
So, hell, if my opponent also has frigates and ironclads, I can just leave them. They're fine.
Aren't they behemoths though?
No, they are not behemoths.
They're behemoths. Argonaut frigate says behemoth.
Yeah,
They're
frigates
not monsters. They're behemoths. Unless you make unless you make them battle line with that sub faction. Then they become battle line.
There's no behemoths though.
Yeah, whenever you become a battle line, you lose.
Yeah, it overrides.
Oh.
Yeah.
But regardless, seems to be a very easy one to get for a grand strategy after. Because I forget what I was taking the one where the opponent picks the terrain piece and I got to control it because people forget that. But this one seemed even easier.
Yeah. So as far as my code, I went with honors everything. So we're rallying on a 5+. Trust your gun. Whoop.
4+.
4+. I may have screwed myself out on a couple games there, but that's okay.
It's definitely a 4+. 100%.
For the amendment, trust your guns once per turn. You can re-roll a hit roll of 1 from in the shooting phase, and there is no risk without reward, or there's no reward without risk. Sorry. Once per game, you can attempt an 18-inch charge with a 3d6. As far as the individual
any useful item combos, you don't need to go I guess pure detail, but
no, there's as far as that goes, I've had such horrible luck with the phosphorite bomblets that I've just stopped taking them.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
It's a
literally
very
talking about
tiny item, so you have to.
You have to be.
I played. I want to say about 9 games with bomblets, and over those games, I've done 3 damage.
I've done better than that, that's for sure.
Matt rules, you probably shouldn't take that.
Yeah.
So I've done 3 damage and never more than 1 per game. That's
stick with the auto dispel. That's what you need there.
Yeah. So I just went with the auto dispel, and then the one fun thing I took, I went with the last word for my ironclad, just because I gotta have something fun.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, but let's tell you what. That's your list A. Let's go through our list A's, then we'll do the list B's around. Yeah. So, Neil, give us your list A.
I'm not sure if I have a list A or a list B because they both may be equally terrible. But
make one be A.
This is A. This is A because it's the one I have up.
List F and list suck. Whatever you want to call it.
So my sub faction is Barrack Zahn. Grand strategy, rule the skies. You're going to hear this is going to be kind of common between us for those kind of things. Triumph is inspired, so we're getting that +1 to wound there. And the total number of points I got in this list is 1980, so that's possible. So my article is Master the Skies, give the extra 2-inch range for the boats. And let's see, amendments, trust to your guns, give me that reroll the one reroll of a 1. on the ship's weapon, and then there's no reward without risk. So that gives me the 3d6 charge. I've got 6 heroes in this list. This is my
Jesus.
this is my
Yeah. I have a high hero
this
list
is
too.
my
It's
like
fun.
run in and just bongo people. All right, so this is my Alpha Strikey list. It has 1,000 different drops. It is never going to choose whether it goes first or second. Somebody else.
That's
would
pretty
choose
good
that
for an
me.
alpha list. That's you don't want to go first on an alpha list.
Right. Well, this I would love to go first. So and I will be setting it up right on the edge of the line. And if they go first and they wipe me out, oops. I don't care. I'm gonna bomb in there, and if somebody's dumb enough to let me do it, then in I come. All right. So we've got Arcanaut Admiral. This list actually has 2 Warlord battalions, so I am getting 3 artifacts. I've got bomblets. I've got the Celestial Burst Grenade, which takes off the ward as long as I don't roll the 1. Which the only time I actually remembered to use it, I did in fact roll the 1. So we'll see how that goes over the course of some games. And then I also have the Voidstone Orb, which will take out the what do I want to call it?
Single dispel.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of it. Yeah.
So, yeah. The other thing I have is what's the thing that lets you dispel and keep dispelling? It's the new.
Oh, the
it's the new
nullstone, hand carved nullstone icon.
Hand
card
Yeah,
model.
yeah, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So that's in there. And that is pretty much it for the fun stuff on the heroes. But I've got 2 Endrin Masters with Endrin Harness and Etheric Navigator. Another Endrin Master with Endrin Harness. I forgot I had 3 of those bad boys. Brock Grunson and Arcanaut Admiral. So if one of these boats hits you, you can take one of them out, man. This boat will hit you and you will feel some pain. It is going to take something out. And that's really how I run my games is I go for moral victories. So as long as I kill something cool, even if I lose the game, that's all right with me. So then we got a Grunstock Gun Hauler as battle line. We've got 6 engine riggers in one boat, 6 engine riggers in the other boat, and then we got 2 frigates, which are the boats. So the great engine work is the Malefic Sky Mines. I don't know if that's ever going to come into play or not, but if you do something that flies into my boat in the combat phase, I will make go away, hopefully with some either D3 or D6 mortal wounds, which, as we know, is equal to 1 mortal wound. So that's list 1 for me.
Nice. Oh, Matt, did you have any battalions? I don't think we got any of those from you. Anything exciting?
Oh yeah.
Or just...
So as far as that goes, I just went with Battle Regiment. So it's a
that's
2
fair.
drop.
Yep, that's fair. Let's see, mine. So I am a Barrack Thrang because it's the best, and I've themed my entire army with depossessed bits, so I'm stuck there forever. Plus, it's the sub-faction. I like the lore. Grand Strategies, Rule the Skies, Triumph Inspired. My article, Master of the Skies, so 2-inch movement on my boats there. My amendment is always take what you are owed, which means once per game, at the start of my hero phase, I can pick which I've screwed that up already, Matt. It's the start of the hero phase, not when it matters. Okay. Pick 1 friendly Arcanaut Company unit, counts as 2 models, and that matters because I'll have a big block in this one for that. So, Arcanaut Company counts as 2 models instead of 1 on an objective for a round. And also, there's no trading with some people, which is once per battle, end of enemy shooting, pick 1 friendly Skyfarers unit that's targeted by any shooting attacks, and I can immediately shoot. So it's nice to be able to shoot people out of phase, so I'm going to do that. My battalions is Command Entourage, Warlord, and an Attack Squadron, so I can give a boat a reroll of charge if I feel like it. Leaders, I got the Arcanaut Admiral. I got a Code Right. Code Right has the hand-carved nullstone icon thingy. Injured Master of Injured Harness, which he has the Phosphorite Bomblet.
There we go.
And the Admiral has the get rid of your ward save on a 2+. You can see those are obviously in the boat together. I also have an Aether Chemist, a Navigator, and a Rune Lord, because that's more narrative from that siege battle we did, Matt. Remember that Rune Lord guy that we
Yeah.
I threw him in there. Plus, he still has the +2 for right now, so he's still useful.
From right now.
Yeah,
for
right
now.
Right now. And then I have
When you're done, you'll have whenever the tournament is over, you'll have to like put them out on a base, put them out take some black and white footage and just play closing time over it. And
Yep, exactly. I have 10 Gruntsock Thunderers. Now, Matt, I know you like to have all the special weapons. Me and Neil are both lazy, so we have cannons and rifles.
it's not like it's did the intelligent thing and got more Thunderers and equipped them properly.
Nah, that's too much to think.
Yeah,
Although
no.
I'll be surprised, just the weight of shots from the rifles can still do decent work. It's
No,
not.
they can't.
Yeah,
No,
they
they
can.
can't.
They can.
No, they
They
can't.
can.
How many wounds did you do to me with your 10 Thunderers?
Well, nothing because I was shooting your boats like a fool. But some of the heroes that I got right next to with that boat, oh my god, just wasting 5 wound heroes. Unit of 10 Arcanaut Company, a unit of 20 Arcanaut Company for that shooting, count as double because I can hopefully hold an objective. 2 frigates, and a gun hauler. That's my first list. Obviously, I have cannons everywhere. I love cannons. Cannons are cool. Yep, so that's my list 1. So everybody, now don't vote yet. There's still a second round of lists to come, everybody. So don't assume I've already lost this. Because here's the thing. If I lose my first game hard enough, I can submarine up. Whereas those guys, if they win hard enough, they just get beat down the whole way. And hopefully they face each other.
Hopefully what'll happen is we face each other. Neil beats me, then I go so far down that they get set up with the ringer and then get the win.
Yep, that's a possibility. All right, list 2. What's your list 2 looking like, Matt?
All right, so my list 2 is it's crock full of horse shit is what it is. So
It's okay, so is mine. Yeah.
So here's what we got. So we got an ironclad. So no surprise there. Then we got 15 pack of Thunderers, no surprise there. We got our Admiral and our Endrin Master with Endrin harness, no surprise there. So we broke up the Endrin riggers into 2 blocks of 3 to fill battle line and also to heal a boat if it's needed. All that is to back up and support a motherfucking incarnate. That's and just to make sure, I attached it to the Admiral who will never leave that boat, and I gave him the artifact to give Admirals a 5-up ward.
So by the time that Admiral finally dies, doesn't matter. That thing's so far deep in their lines that if it's wild, who cares?
Right.
Okay. Interesting.
Nice.
Anything else, like any battalions or any? Was the sub faction change anything, or is that just?
Yeah, this was the changeover to Zon. And then as far as battalions, no, I couldn't fit anything in there. So
Yeah,
I probably could have fit something, but there was no need.
Yeah. Neil, how about yourself? It's your list 2.
So list number 2 is my fun list. We'll see whether it's actually fun. I think it's fun because it harkens back to my days where I just played boats and nothing else. So this isn't fully that, but we've got Barrack Urbaz for the sub faction. Again, we're ruling the skies, inspired for a triumph. No changes there. We've got 2 articles for Barrack Urbaz, which is Master the Skies and Settle the Grudges. So we'll pick one thing and we'll get +1 to wound against that thing. I think it is on Settle the Grudges.
Sounds right. Sure.
I believe, but I'll have
used
to look. I got to look that back up. We'll be reviewing these rules on the way down to Nashcon on the airplane. So
See, that's what
then we
me,
got
me and Matt will be more prepared because we have an 8-hour drive. Haha.
Yeah.
We planned ahead. You flying like a fool.
So there is. I've got. There's no reward without risk. So we're sticking to the code there. And let's see. The amendment is trust to your gun. So again, that reroll 1/1. So I have for that, we've got 3 heroes here. We got a navigator with the Voidstone Orb again for the auto dispel. We've got command traits with the Arcanaut Admiral, which is Stormcaller, so I can reroll the navigator's Read the Winds. And then we've got Engine Master with Dirigible Suit. And the only reason he's in there is because I couldn't take him out, put the regular, like cheaper Engine Master in there, and have anything of value, and it actually would have knocked me out of my 1 drop, which is what this list is. So So he's in there and he's got the hand carved Nullstone icon. So we've got inside the boot, we got 9 engine riggers and all those heroes. And the boat that they are in is an ironclad, and it has the last word. It's the Admiral's flagship. So I just decided that if anybody was gonna, charge that boat, which is probably the most important part of this army, then they've got to go through a Unleash Hell. They've got to go through the last word, and they've also got to go through that giant's Malefic Sky, not Malefic Sky Mine. What's the big bomb that it drops in the charge phase or whatever? Somebody charges you. And it's an ironclad thing.
Okay, I don't have an ironclad, so I don't know them actually.
Yeah. So, and then outside of that, we've got 4 gun haulers. So gun haulers are there to zip around, try and grab objectives for me. And then I'm gonna do lots of shooting with cannons, and then we're gonna fly in and hit some people with some engine riggers. So
There you go. My second list is also my fun list. I think our second list that we're talking about here is our fun ones of just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So I kept pretty much everything the same as much as possible. But I put Gotrek in, so I had to shift things around. But as far as like items and upgrades, look, Admiral still has his burst grenade, bomblets on the engine master, and my navigator, he takes over the Nullstone icon duties because that's the only heroes I can hit outside of Gotrek, who is also in my list because it's Gotrek. And obviously, this is where I switched the Admiral to be X-Gunstruck, so my Thunderers, 2 units of 5, and my Gun Hauler, which is Gunstruck, count as battle line. And then the 2 frigates. That's it. So literally everything sits. I have 3 boats, just full of stuff, moving around while Gotrek slowly marches forward. I was kind of hoping that we would get the no reward without risk scenario, because we had the list of 7 potential scenarios for this event, but today they came out with and told us what scenarios we actually have, and I don't believe that one's on there, so looks like I'm gonna be using some run rules on Gotrek here. Yeah, look. So we'll have Geometric Pulse, nice easy start, Spring the Trap, Power Flux, Every Step is Forward, and Nexus Collapse. So, should be a fun one. But yeah, I was hoping to be able to have a scenario where I put Gotrek literally in the middle of the board on the objective in combat and be like, all right, fight me. But, oh well.
you have it all.
Which one's the Nexus Collapse again?
I actually can't remember, and my army and book is over there packed up. I could go get it, but I don't want to.
I'm pretty sure that's the one that we don't want.
Oh, for like
We don't
KO specifically?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're only competing against ourselves. So if we all take the loss that round, we already know. And that's the last. I don't know if this is the order that we're playing them in, but if that is, that's the last round. So if we get there, we already know who won our little event, I guess. Or we're all tied at 0-4, and we're like,
yeah,
somebody...
yeah, because there's 1, maybe 2, where if you're near the objective, everything within 6 inches or whatever takes mortal wounds, takes D3.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
and that's not, as someone that's played against Slanesh, it's not where you want to be.
Well, I could always take my Gotrek in that list, because then he's just taking 1 and I could save it. That might be my way to have a shot at that scenario, just to score points. That's still gonna be so hard to win with everything inside of it.
Yeah. Or you just kill everything off the table first and then worry about objectives.
True. That's very true. We'll see. But yeah, I think we got some pretty good lists. I think mine are the best.
Well, you don't have an incarnate, so I disagree.
I mean, I do, but it's not on my list, so I'm not taking it.
It'll be just go first. Just make sure you go first with.
That's the problem. I have 0 chance of going first unless my opponent says you can go first.
Yeah. If we play each other, Chuck, man, I'm beelining for Gotrek. You better hide that bastard in the back corner.
Actually, to be fair, he's probably my best if I run into either one of you, because Matt's list beat my main list without Gotrek because he went first. So
Yeah.
I'll probably throw Gotrek against you guys and be like, at least I have one model to play turn 5 with because I can roll saves really well.
Well,
Yeah.
here's what I'll say: is hope that the Celestium Burst Grenade does not affect him. I roll the 1, and then hope I roll the 1 on the bomb.
I will
Otherwise,
take that risk. I will
otherwise he's going to be off before the combat phase even begins.
I will take that risk. Yeah, Matt, I'm sorry you're having problems with the phosphorus bomblets. I had one game where I rolled a 1 on the first one, but other than that, I'm taking off things that are like 20 wounds, like boom, 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 boom. And then I had one where it's like, oh, just a 1 right away. I'm like, okay, I can't complain.
That's the Timmy mindset right there.
Hello, everybody. You might be wondering, why did Chuck interrupt the middle of this podcast with his good friends Neil and Matt while they're talking about their Nashcon fun little care-drawn shenanigans going on? Well, that's because I am pulling a wool over their eyes. Now, this podcast won't be revealed until the start of round 1, at which point my schemes will already been in motion. So let me walk you through this. We're gonna go back about 6-7 months ago. I decided I did not want to play KL. You guys know me. You know what my main army is. You know what I'm about. But I didn't want to back out of this agreement. Thus a plan formed. That plan involved having a narrative siege battle. And with narrative siege battle, there was a very important element to that. Because I knew I was going to fail. I knew my temple was going to fall. So in order to save Terathi and as many of her flock as possible, I used some narrative shenanigans with my city's army, as you heard on this podcast, or will hear, depending on when I insert this, to call in aid of the Caradron overlords. As such, Terathi and her cult are now housed inside entirely of the vessels of Fleet Maxava. Now, obviously, the fleet is massive. It's bigger than just what I play with on the table, but work with me here. So as you can see, we now have a Caradron ship with a daughter's cane on it, representing the army that's inside. Now, Caradron don't ever do anything free, if you catch my drift here. And, you know, as stated, they rescued Terathi, as you can see right here in the image on screen right now. They rescued Terathi during the final siege of her Terathian temple near Har-Karan. So what does this mean now? Well, during the last event I was at, which was GitCon, where is a prep event for Nashcon, and I took Caradron Overlords because I had to keep up appearances that I was taking Caradron, because Matt was there. Couldn't just not play them. He would get suspicious. So the story is they're inside, they're figuring out the contract, while the fleet takes them to wherever they need to go. But that's the thing, Terathi's working out the contract with the Admiral of Fleet Maxava. Because Caradron want to get paid. They didn't do this out of the goodness of their heart. Now, they did this because they needed something. Now, there's a couple things that happened here. One, as mentioned or will be mentioned on the show very shortly, there were some grudge books made. Now, I always make a grudge book for my dwarf armies, so I can record my losses. Very, very dwarfy, very grudgy. They're very simple. Little moleskin journal about yay big, paint it up, put some grudge runes on it, open up some script, block, runic script for the pages, and then the rest of that's just very simple. Just recording the losses and the date and the player's name and the army they played, and you can't cross it off until you beat them. But Neil and Matt didn't have one, so they, I offered. I was like, I can always make you guys one, and they took me up on that. So as you can see on screen right now, the 2 grudge books I made for them that they'll have at the event. But they haven't realized, and I forgot to take a picture of this. This is a shame on me. I'll try and get one when I'm down there. The very back page of each of these grudge books says, grudge book created on behalf of Fleet Maxava by the Terathian cult, signed with Terathi's rune. They've had these books for a few months now, and they've used them. and they've never seen what's on that back page, which is one of the clues that I'm not taking KO. And then let's continue the story of all the shenanigans here with a little model Matt gave me, which will be talked about on this podcast, either before or after this. A little Arcanaut model that represents a Rune Lord, because I can't ally in any KO in Daughter's Cane, but a Rune Lord is Sigmar. So I themed it appropriately, painted it, and based it to match my Daughter's Cane. You can see there on his belt is the contract itself. And what you can't see is there's a little hand-painted script of Terathi's symbol, because one of the contracts, so why is there two contracts? There's only one contract for the little arrangement we have for our little Nashcon KO battle. The other one's between the Terathian cult and Fleet Max of Ah. And it's a very important one, because within that agreement, there is note that a Rune Lord has to represent, or be present, or Rune Lord, a Arcanaut person, a Caradron, has to be representative at the contest. And as such, because, and sorry while I'm looking away, because of that, I will be taking Daughters of Cain. Look on screen here, some art for the back of my lists, some Terathi in her finest gear, because the agreement that has been made between the Terathian cult and Fleet Max of Ah is that they will represent, Terathian cult will represent Fleet Max of Ah in this contest at Nashcon, as payment for rescuing them and delivering them to wherever their new home shall be. So the KO are coming down, dropping off, and watching. But the one Rune Lord, who's technically a Arcanaut, by the looks in my lore, not by rules, will be present in both lists. Which, speaking of lists, might be a little hard to see here, but let's check out these lists. So here's my two lists. Might not show up too okay. So one, Xanthar Kai. This is the Reputation era. Daughter's Cane, Xanthar Kai, Bloodthirsty Zealots, inspired. Loose Iron Scale, fueled by Revenge, Artifact, Crown of Woe, Bloodwrack Medusa, Rune Lord, Slaughter Queen. Slaughter Queen in both these lists will be Terathi herself. And she'll have glorious wings because she has made deals with Caradron and she's borne aloft by their technology now. And then, as you can see, a bunch of Blood Sisters and Blood Stalkers, and some Canary Heartrenders for the easy battle tactics. 1990, double battle reg, boom, 2-drop, there we go. The other list, which is the Midnight's era, Daughter's Cane, Drake and Neff, Bloodthirsty Zealots, inspired. High Queen and Cauldron, make that ×2. Get the Rune Lord in there, Slaughter Queen, Terathi's in there, and a High Gladiatrix. And then we have 10 Sisters of Battle, or 10 Sisters of Battle. Sisters of Slaughter, sorry, Sisters of Battle. Speaking of conversions earlier, so 10 Sisters of Slaughter, 30 Witch Elves, 2 Canary Heartrenders, and some Cainite Shadow Stalkers. Once again, double battle reg. So that should be pretty solid list, I feel. I feel I can outperform some Caradron lists with this. And you might be asking too, like, well, how are they, Matt and Neil, going to allow this? Because I haven't told them. And heck, I'm even taking the tournament loss points, potentially, because I'm not uploading my list. Now, I did send my list ahead of time to David. I said, here's my lists. Also, what I'm doing is like this little secret narrative thing. I told him I'd give him the full details when I'm down there. I said, but like, I don't want to upload my list or confirm to my faction because I'm trying to do this little shenanigan things to explain it down to him. And he said, that's fine. But like, I told him, like, I'm willing to take the point loss. Doesn't bother me any. Because I'm just trying to beat them, have a good time, I'm not trying to win this event. Because to me, after I pull this off, and seeing Matt and Neil's face, and them getting like upset with it, it's going to be my win. That's all I need out of this. But like I said, how are they going to allow this to happen? Because I haven't told them, and I'm not going to tell them. It's just going to be, boom, I did it. Well, you see, Caradron, very much like one thing. They like contracts. They like loopholes. They like payments. So, Terathi is owing up her payment via contract to Fleet Max of Ah. Fleet Max of Ah, we have the one-page contract. And what it is, like I said, ChatGPT did it. It says whoever wins is the best will all sign it. Bottom right corner, it says page 1. Turn to the next page, all that fluff and lore and blank pages left on purpose that I mentioned, or will mention. Like I said, I'm not sure where I'm splicing this into the podcast, so pardon that. Also starts on page 1, because it's actually at the top, it says, by the way, the first page of the contract's flowery, watermark, beautiful script. Second one, and everyone after, is just white paper, black ink, small type, and at the very top it says addendum. Because within the addendum, it lays out why the Daughters of Cain are going to represent Fleet Max of Ah. So what we're doing is we're going to sign this very, very quickly right before we begin, before I revealed anything. My display board would be like hidden, everything's going to be hidden. We'll sign and initial all these pages, and they will have agreed on contract that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing, which is taking the Therathian call to my Daughters of Cain to Nashville and playing within our little mini event. And it'll be signed. The best part about it is, about a few days ago, like right before I was about to print all this out, like I'm holding it in. Like I've told a few people, but like this has been like 7 months in the making of all in my head. So I'm excited to get this all out. Few days before I printed it out, Neil comes to me and he says, "Hey, I want to pull a KO trick over on Matt." I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I'm playing dumb immediately. I know like kind of what he wants to do. Essentially what he did is he helped write Matt's list. So we put a little addendum inside the addendum, which I think is just filler, that says if they tie, essentially, Matt and Neil, because Neil essentially wrote part of the list, that Neil will win. So if Matt and Neil tie, Neil will win over Matt. And I put it in there, and I was like, hey, that's a great idea. I wish I thought of that. Internally, like, holding in laughter, because of 7 months of bullshit loophole stuff I've been planning, and like narrative shit that they've all been a part of. And like I put clues out there because I couldn't resist. But anyway, we threw it in there, and I said, hey, Neil, we need to make sure Matt doesn't read this. So we need to make sure we sign this very close to the start of round 1. And we sign it so quickly that he doesn't have time to read it. And he's like, that's a great idea. So essentially, the universe gave me a gift. Neil's going to help me get this thing signed, and he's going to seal his own fate along the way with Matt very quickly. And also, being any contract, an exchanging of goods is always a good way to solidify that contract. So I've had 3D printed a few coins here. You can see one for each of us, one KO and one Daughters of Cain. And on the back, just for some fun, I added the Therathian runes to the Daughters of Cain and just a general Fleet Max of I don't really have a rune for my character on Fleet, but I guess that will do for now. But what I did is I took the Daughters of Cain one and very slightly used Lamia Medium to essentially seal them together, so it looks like one thick coin. So the plan is essentially, let me put this down. The plan is essentially to sign this contract, sealed away. They have not seen I had Daughters of Cain. Hand them this coin that looks like just one thick coin and has a KO picture on the front. And then for them to turn over and go, oh, why is the Therathian rune there? Because they know that rune. They've seen it many times. And then maybe realize that with a little bit of pressure, you can pull them apart, and all of a sudden you realize there's 2 coins there. Because they've made a deal not only with Fleet Max of but also the Therathian cult. And then their jaws will drop, and they'll yell at me in fun ways, and I'll be like, well, here, buy the contract that you signed. And that's the plan. And pull this off. I've been doing so hard to try and pull this off, and I cannot wait. Just a few more days, and if it works, it's gonna be like one of the greatest narrative things I think I've done in a long time, and I'm super jazzed, super excited for it. So we're gonna put you back to the podcast now, but don't worry, they're not gonna see this podcast. As I said, or will say, this podcast is coming out at the start of round 1. Also, if you'd like, I added a little excerpt, a little narrative bit about the Therathian's lore for this event. The Therathian Cult's lore, which is a small excerpt of the contract between Fleet Max and Therathian Cult, kind of also explains this. So that's over on my blog right now as you're watching this, strengthhammer.net. So go check it out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the follow-up episode whenever they're fuming. I hope I've won, because it'll be even better if they win. I'm not gonna hear the end of it, but if I manage to win and pull this off, it's gonna be gravy. So, yes. Anyway, back to the show proper, everybody. So what's you guys are the Neil, is this your first Nashcon as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're the Nashcon virgins. Matt's the expert.
The only the only large tournament I've gone to, like large con, has been Adepticon multiple times. But outside of that,
No, you've been to
no,
Nova.
I've been to Nashcon or Nova a couple times too. So yeah,
You've
but
been
those
to-
are really the only two big ones I've
You've
been
been to Terrathi Invitational. Now that's big in prestige, not not
Well,
players.
let's just set the limit at like maybe 50 players.
No, we keep the
for
riffraff
large-
out. Like there's level. That's the level.
That's true. Wasn't invitational, so only the
It's-
best.
Exactly. We had 100% of the best people I could invite. But anyway,
Yeah.
Matt, as
Yes.
the Nashcon pro, Nashcon expert,
Yes.
Neil's already at Nashcon. He's just beer after beer, and he's got to get up at 4.
Yeah.
See, actually, so side note, little tangent. I just got a new fitness accessory in. Help me track my sleep better,
Ooh.
but it's also in the form of a game. Neil, have you ever heard of Pokemon Sleep?
No.
It's
God, no.
It's a free app. I'm a big Pokemon fan. That's why I'm pointing Neil. That's why I'm just talking to you. Matt knows. He's like, whatever. Right? This is Chuck.
This is like the face of a guy who gets a lot of sleep.
So there is also an accessory you could buy. It's a little Pokeball, and I'll bring it down because you just put it underneath your pillow. It helps track your sleep a little bit. What was that, Matt?
No, I don't.
You okay. It's gonna be interesting because Matt's in the room, so it's gonna think I didn't get any sleep because there's gonna be constant snoring. And I did already pack my earplugs.
Yeah.
I'll bring them.
I got that. I got my earplugs. I really think you should get a CPAP machine so you don't die in the middle of the night.
Oh, I can hear you bitch about the CPAP machine.
Those things are gentle and loving. You should.
No,
get one.
I went to I was at Adepticon with two heavies, baby, and they both had CPAP. And that thing sang me to sleep. I was on a cot, and I don't think I've ever slept so good in my entire life.
But I'm using the Pokemon Sleep to track my sleep. Last night I got 7 hours for my first night of tracking it, and woke up. Apparently I'm a dozer. As far as I'm not a slumberer, I'm a dozer. I don't get to that deep sleep. But so is Bulbasaur, because I got a Bulbasaur as my first Pokemon, which is my favorite Pokemon. So it's all looking up right now.
Bulbasaur is the best,
It is
just
the
because of
best.
his name.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, Matt,
Yes.
what should me and Neil look out for this event? So if anyone else is coming to Nashcon, granted, I'm releasing this when Nashcon starts, so if you're listening to this, that means you
Too late.
too late. But tell us or for anyone in the future, for next year's Nashcon, because like I've been excited to go to this for many years. I'm finally get to go to it. What can we look forward to? What should we expect? What should we be ready for?
So first and foremost, I'll tell you right now, like, this is the event where I like how, like, whenever there's like a wrestling event in town, or like a sporting event where someone had to come from out of town, and there's like one hotel where they all stay at and they all just go to little areas. This is Nashcon, all right? So expect a lot of big names, a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of very competitive people.
Oh, no, wait. I think you just stop at big names. You had to throw into competitiveness. Jeez.
Yes, and competitive people. So those swords really bring people out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
tell them about the trophies. They're fantastic trophies.
oh yeah. So the trophies, if you are not privy, they're just full on swords. They're just, and then I think there's, I think for the best alliances, I think the smaller
daggers,
alliances, daggers, the short swords to dagger length. But yeah, so other than that, all of the terrain is massive.
All 3D printed by the great person who's Anthony Paul Castro. I want to say Paul, but that's his last name. Yeah, he helped out a lot for Nova one year. A few pieces might have ended up on my home table too. But yeah,
Yeah,
like absolutely amazing stuff he does, and he's an expert at
He's
it.
actually he actually donated an entire table's worth of terrain at the first Brewhammer as well.
wow,
Wow.
wow. Yeah, man.
We
There's
should
someone
take.
that loves
Should we,
3D printing, and it's a great addition to the community.
should we just take him a case of Yingling? Like, do they have Yingling down?
Yes.
Do they have Yingling down there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look
I
it up.
don't know if they stopped.
If it stops there, I'm gonna bring a case down bring one for him and one for David.
But yeah, so one of the games. So I had a game. I think it was round 3. I had a match against KO, who was. If you go back to that episode and watch, we talk about my one opponent being Neil's doppelganger, and that was him. Like, he looked like Neil, laughed like Neil. We joked around like Neil. Like, it got to where I'm like,
He was a giant tool like Neil. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
So like we were joking around. Like, I think that, like, if you and I joke, like, if I joked around the way you and I joke around with like somebody else, like, there's a certain point I'm like, shit, I don't know this person that well. I need to dial it back a little. Like, I was literally like, I had a moment like that, like mid game. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. I just want to let you know, I'm getting sucked into the game, sucked into our newly found friendship. Sorry if I'm going a little too far. He's like, no man, I get you. You're fine. But so he was shooting the living shit out of my giants because of the terrain. There was like a tower behind a wall. So
Damn.
he was like all set up, all in there, and I'm like, I could reach him, but all I had to do is just like, I'm like, son of a bitch. So yeah, so if you don't have a mobile army, like, this is not the place for Fire Slayers. This is not the place for I don't know. Probably also not a good Stormcast if you're trying to go like shoot cast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you're going with your fulminators and your your dragons, you'll be fine. But like, if you're doing a lot of foot stuff, if you're doing annihilators, you're
Actually, no, I mean, with that in mind, Corn might have been a tough. Well, I don't know.
you still have some movement.
Yeah, you
Movement
have some,
shenanigans.
you have movement.
If you
Corn.
have movement shenanigans, you're not
You're
gonna
good.
be
Okay, all right, gotcha. So amazing tables, amazing trophies. I did see this year. I'm not sure if I shared it with you guys, but David put it out. Everyone who gets nominated for the best painted is getting an actual coin that says Nashcon on one side and best painted 2023 on the other side, or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Well,
this is the thing I like too. I think it says in the pack, like, best painted doesn't necessarily mean like technical best painted either. Like, if you have a stunning theme with your display board and everything you have, it might end up in the best painted showcase, which is very cool.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, Matt, you have a shot.
It'll be nice to see what other people have in the.
Yeah.
I think last time, I think I saw someone brought essentially a display board that was essentially a 2 foot by 2 foot square of the Amazon just lifted straight out. Like,
Oh, nice.
it was ridiculous. Like, there were waterfalls, whole nine. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, like that. That'd be a cool thing to get into. And we'll looking at Alex Fithammer, who's on last podcast episode, his display board. I think he has a shot. He's a good painter. If he can get it done in time, he's got a good theme going. It's a very unique setup he has. And actually, he sent me a video because I asked him how it was going, because he's got one. No, they drive out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
hours.
Let's see.
He has hours as of time of recording.
Oh no, he got it done. It's good. It looks really good.
Oh, wow, good.
That's pretty cool.
For someone that paints as quickly as he does, you think he would do more of it.
I know. No, even with this, he had someone else paint the terrain on the boards. Yeah, so if he wins, I could be like, okay, well, you give some of the, or if he gets best painted, I'm like, you give some of that to this person who painted it. Also, you need to get some of it to me, who gave you that terrain.
Just let's get coin right in half. Here you go.
I mean, I need like a third. No, quarter. Quarter's fine. That's fine.
I mean, we're talking about a coin. It might be easier to just go halvesies.
It's true. I'll take half. The other person painting it the other half. I mean, truly, if you think about it, Alex did none of the work. He didn't spend hours shaping the board, painting the board.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Baby.
but Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really like two list format. I don't think we talked about that too much, but we just went through two lists, and everyone who has no idea what Nashcon is about doesn't understand what the hell we have two lists. Um, Neil, let's make sure you understand how this two list format works with your second beer deep. Tell us
Huh.
how this works.
You have to play at least. You have to play both lists at least once,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's pretty much. And then you guys, you rock up to the table. You have both lists, and you basically tell your opponent which one you're playing with. Is that how it works?
So
Yes.
you both rock up, you give your opponent the lists, and Anthony gave this in an email to explain exactly how it worked. You give your opponent both your lists. They give you both their lists, and based upon what their two lists are, you have to decide which list you want to do,
Oh,
and then you put them face down, and then you reveal which list you chose based upon the two lists they could choose from.
yeah.
And that's what you play with. And you're right, you have to play each list at least once. They can be as different as like kind of we all did, with just random bullshit go in the second list, or it could be as simple as I changed one artifact.
Right.
I bet with KO, if there was like a strong KO list, it could even be as simple as changing like an article or a footnote, I bet. Which
Yeah.
would be the
Yeah,
cheesiest
I mean,
thing because like you could bring a code right and just change it back anyway.
yeah.
You got to spend the money on it though, or the money, the points.
I think the code right's worth it. I like them.
I really do like the code right. Again, that's one of the sacrifices that I had to make after they decided to raise the points of all the models I was bringing.
Oh yeah, there was the moment
No
of
for me, Cotton.
yeah, there was the moment of fear. Actually, the points increase on the Thunder screwed me because I was gonna bring a Gartrek list and a what's the Rune Throng, the Regiment of Renown list. I was gonna have like a very defensive
Yeah.
list and a very aggressive list. But the point changes with the Thunderers were so aggressive that I couldn't fit that Regiment of Renown in without being like at 1940, and I didn't want to take Spell in the bottle. I was just like, screw it, just normal list. Like it worked so poorly with the points, but that's fine. But we had the moment of slight worry today whenever we saw like the little stealth FAQ come in for FEC and the GHB. GHB I don't think really affects us at all.
I can't believe that they didn't put up an article about it.
I know that was
I was looking for it. I was looking for it.
yeah, like I don't like okay, if you're a FEC player you complain about this stealth released, but if you're a non-FEC player you're just like, weren't you going to announce it anywhere or even on Twitter, like at
Right.
least one thing? But
Well, that's the thing.
Right.
On top of that, they got rid of the FAQ link from.
you have to go to the downloads Age of Sigmar now. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have to go you have to know. You already have to know, or you
I
just go to
had no
Google.
idea where it is. I had to type in FAQ Age of Sigmar to get it in Google.
Well, there was
Right?
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
and
You made a good
there's
website whenever Google is a better search for your website than your website.
yeah, and there was Nashcon came out right away, emailed us and said, hey, we're going to use it. Just fine, not a big deal. And they extended the deadline for list submissions of people who had it. Like our friend Brad, who's going, he was going to take those shenanigans. It's not going to work, so he's switching and he's going to take something else and just have a good time. He's like, what? Like he actually took it very well. Like I was like we were all kind of like, oh boy, here we go. But it's like no, he's just like whatever. I'll bring this. I like this. And
He was already on the fence about it, anyways.
yeah. Well, he literally switched mindsets too. He went from like I'm going to try to win a dagger to like he even told me his game plan is rock up and says, hey, would you like to beat me? Buy me a beer. If you want to max points, buy me a beer and a shot.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a plan. That's a game plan.
Yeah.
But yeah. But what worried me is, because I didn't look at the FAQs when they originally came out. Like the points changes for the last battle scroll. I guess they didn't. I assume they didn't release them somewhere, or they re-put it up because the date on the points was today's date. I'm like, did they do
Yeah.
points changes today too? Thankfully, you open it and it's all from July, so it's not. It's just I think they just
Oh, I
re-uploaded
thought
it.
there was some FEC. I thought there were some FEC changes.
Maybe that was the one. I could see that, but like I was just like, oh
Yeah.
no, because I immediately scrolled down to like units in my army, and I saw the Thunderers. It was just like plus 20 I'm like, again. And I was just like, oh, it says July. Okay, I'm just stupid. But like,
How dare those Caradron win?
That would be like Skull Reaper type change, right? Like just a unit
Yeah.
they don't want anybody to play ever.
yeah, it's like I'm already taking the bad version of them with just rifles. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's why we need a
Little
point.
case.
Back
Yep.
back to points per weapons.
I'm just gonna say that. Yep.
Just for KO though. Just for KO.
Yeah,
Everyone else is
yeah.
fine. Just KO.
It's not a bad idea for KO, honestly, because of the. I mean,
40K-ness.
it's just not. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of variety, right? I mean, in the army, so.
Well, I mean, if they give us more options, like stop giving us heroes. Give us units, please. I want units.
Please. Yeah.
Just yeah.
Again, 4th edition. Second half of that KO army's dropping them. Guarantee you this.
All right, I look forward to it. While I play, hopefully, Malarian's new army that comes out, and I don't buy any more KO. But
They're going to hold off till 5th edition when we go to Olgu? Which one's Shadow?
Yep, Olgu. You
Yeah.
got it.
I always get Shadow and Death confused because
Shaish.
heaven forbid we have to
It's like
split
spooky.
that apart.
Shaish
Oh,
is
yeah,
like
shit.
shish. But...
Yeah, Purple Son of Shaish. Because it brings death!
I
So you might
mean,
imagine
if you listen, let's play some when we get after this, when we can put the AOS on the shelf, we can get out the 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy, and I can Purple Sun you to death, Matt. All right, and you'll hate it even more in 8th edition.
Are you going to put your Purple Sun on squares?
No, it's not even a physical thing. It's just a circle template that I move around.
No. We're going to use Purple Sun.
Well, the template is actually circle, so I'd have to glue it to the template.
That's fine.
I'm not doing that.
See, look, if we would have done what I asked back when we were doing Nova, where we said, hey, GW, we need 100 Purple Suns, we wouldn't have this problem.
That's true. That's true. Well, okay, that plan came up right before the COVID year, so, and then after that, James took over anyways. So we didn't actually have that chance.
That plan was in place from the first time we ran Nova, just nobody listens to me. That's all.
Okay, fine. Well, no, we did, because you fixed the paint rubric after my attempt at it, where I said, everybody in the world who isn't Oscar Lars sucks at painting armies. That's exactly what I did. Because every time I see people's armies, like I mentally kind of have that checklist in my head of what I did. I think his is the only army. No, him and Bleep Bloop. They're the only two. But like they're like best of the best. Like each monarch can beat Golden Demon. So
I would like to point out that I tried to raise all the red flags and you poo-pooed me. So
because I was the TO and I knew what I was doing, and I clearly had
I
no
told you,
idea.
I was like, should my army get full points? And you said yes, and I said it gets 12.
I actually like between Matt telling you this for your event and Matt telling me about all the shit that I do wrong.
Oh yeah,
I see him like up in like a grand theater wearing like a white wig, and he's like looking down on us, and he's just like, I told you.
I've learned so many harsh lessons at being a TO really quickly with Nova, so it's fine. I'm better for it. And I was wrong a lot.
Yes.
Anyway, back to Nashcon, where I'm not being a TO, which is great.
Yes.
I get to just show up and play and be annoying to the TO. This says I can move 4 inches. Does that mean I can move 4.5 inches? No, it does not. Okay, all right.
Excuse me, TO, split this split again and split again thing doesn't say that it can capture objectives when they split.
Here's the problem, because I've TO'd so much now. You said that, and my mind immediately went, well, they can because of, and I went right to like the sections in the GHB about capturing. I was like, fuck.
Wow.
It's in there.
The way we play it at home is I get to choose whether they split or blow up.
Good for home, buddy. You special. Yes. So anyway, let's wrap up our Nashcon thoughts. This actually podcast might be just about an hour with us talking, so that's not too bad. We're pretty efficient, just like the Caradron way.
Good, because I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, you do. What?
All right, one more hour. Come on.
All right. What's our hopes and dreams for Nashcon? Like, obviously we all want to win our own little mini event.
5 new friends now.
That's it. That's a legit thing. That's fine. Neil,
I know it is. I know it's a little cliche, but
it is. Neil, what's your hopes? Give me your top 3 things you want out of this event besides winning the contract.
Are these besides winning the contract?
Yeah, besides, yeah.
I would like to have at least one game go legitimately 5 turns of competitive AOS. That is a fun game. That would be awesome. That'd be a nice hope and dream. I believe most of my games will be done in 2 turns. We will know what the result is. However, so that's probably one. I'm just excited to go down and see Nashcon or Nashville and experience all that has to offer. I've never been there before, so this is a new experience for me, top to bottom. So outside of that, I really just want to hang out with my buddies, you know. So that's why I do these things. That's why I come to these, is hanging out with my buddies and getting you guys for what, 3 days, 4 days, something like that.
4 days.
So,
Yeah, because we'll be down. We'll be down there because of the hour change. We'll be down there midday Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Okay.
And then we're staying. Yeah,
Yeah. But okay, but if you hear that, if you play Neil at this event, if you watch this podcast Saturday night, and you're playing Neil the next day, you're at least 4th on Neil's list about caring about you.
Yeah,
pretend to be his
100%.
friend.
Yeah.
Destroy him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't care about you. Matt, you
I don't.
see. Oops, sorry, good. No good, Neil. What were we gonna say?
No, I said no. I don't.
Oh, okay,
I don't
okay.
care.
Matt, you looked aggressive for a second.
Yeah.
What was that about?
No, I was telling anyone that fights Neil to crush him.
Oh, okay.
Break him, break his spirit, break his soul. So next game, he just I give up. Make him like me, round 5 Brewhammer.
Or round 5 Fabricator's Forge.
Right. I'm done with this. I'm shelving this army. This is not the play style I like. I'm going to do all the
Matt already said he's shelving this army at 6 p.m. Sunday night. He's done. I don't know what he's going to play.
Yeah.
I don't either, man. I don't know.
He just
Warhammer the Old World.
Woo, let's go. All right, Matt, your top 3 outside of winning the contract.
I think overall, I would really like 3 and 2, but realistically, probably 2 and 3.
This is why he gets disappointed.
Yeah, it is. He has expectations of winning.
Win 2. Well, again, if I lose, win, lose, win, lose.
How about back it up? How about you win for 2 turns out of a game? Huh? How about that?
Right.
No, see, that's not my play style. I come from behind. I start.
Okay, yeah, I'm a in your face and winning a couple rounds, and then I die.
Yeah, that's.
Anyway,
yeah. So yeah. So
3 and 2.
As far as that
or
goes,
2 and 3. You want to win 2 games.
I want to win 3.
2's acceptable.
But hoping for 2.
Okay.
Hoping for 2. And I said, I mean, I guess really it's not even necessarily a set record. It's just I just want to be able to have fun with my losses and move on. Because that's one of the things that's where I get upset, is whenever it's just you can't do anything, you're smashed. Why'd you even set models up? Move on with your day.
Yeah.
Which again is KO. So that's so then number 2, I know Alex and I are going to do a little battle companies after the games, or whenever we have some free time for Middle Earth.
Oh yeah.
I'm super looking forward to that. Looking forward to that a lot. And then 3, just do one better than Neil.
That's fair. That technically gets around. I mean,
so win
by
a
the legal words I said of accept the contract, you are allowed to say that. Good job on KOing that, Matt. Good job.
So he is hoping for 1, 2, or 3 wins. Either one of those things will satisfy 2 out of his.
Or a draw. Even a draw, Neil. He'll take a draw. He'll be okay.
Yeah, even a draw. Even a draw will do it. Yeah.
He's been doing pretty good with his army. So
it's true. Yeah. Can you imagine if one of us won our contract because everyone else lost so bad and you got a draw? Can you imagine how?
Oh, I know. Hilarious. But yeah. So just as a real quick, just a little bit more information about me shelving KO. There's nothing wrong with KO up front. It's a very specific play style. It's set for a very specific person. I'm just not that person. I love my games that go 5 rounds that are close and it's a knockout drag out fight. That's what I look forward to, and that's just not KO.
Okay, that's good. I think my top 3. I think one is exploring Nashville. Like much like you, Neil, I've never been there, so I'm a travel person, so I'm really looking forward to seeing as much as I can. Number 2 is playing on these amazing tables, and not just playing on them. I hope they inspire me to do something cool for like Terathi Invitational. Like I'm just hoping for an inspiration from it. And number 3, I don't know why I said top 3 because I haven't really thought that far myself. Kind of set myself up here. I'm hoping to find one aspect because like the games I've played against KO, they've been okay, but I haven't found like that one thing that like the Timmy thing, like Daughter's Kane. I love Kraith. Slanesh, I love the Temptation Dice. I'm hoping to find that one thing in my KO army that I have that just,
10 mortal wounds on a phosphorite bomb.
and that could be it. That could be it. Like I've hit some good ones, but like I want to find that Timmy thing that like resonates with me that says this is why I'm playing this army. This one potential moment. I want to find that through these games, like with different people, different play styles, because the test games I have like against KO was weird, and some of the other ones were like also I was playing against newer people, so I couldn't like just be a dick and just like really push the shit in. Some games I could, but not all of them. But yeah, I guess there's a small caveat. Sub 4. This is a bonus one because I've also tied like my Terathi narrative to the KO in like a slight way because they rescued them from the siege from the Fallen Temple. So like there's little Daughters of Cain in my boat now just for fun. I'm hoping this also allows me to use
the one girl on the boat.
Yeah, one girl on the boat. Yeah. I'm hoping that this gives me some narrative push to continue not just my Terathi's story, but also other armies' stories, like with future narrative and future events. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. And yeah, I look forward to out KOing you guys immensely.
So you've gone over the story behind your list or your army. Neil, have you gone over yours?
I've not. I can.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Run
I
through.
think that's a good.
That's
it's all part of it. You know?
We can talk about our narrative. So yeah.
Right.
Neil, what's your
narrative? My narrative always revolves around my my engine master Grumjonson Forgeheart, and he is he's been my narrative hero. He's also the hero that I play in Soulbound when we play Soulbound, and if we play Soulbound, and
we are playing Soulbound.
Okay, I hear you say that.
We will be playing.
So it's really his journey into kind of running the fleet. And so the story was that there was an admiral. The admiral gets killed at one point, so Grumjonson has to take over the fleet. And as I kind of played through Path to Glory and stuff, it's just kind of him and how he's kind of growing his fleet consistently. And so that's why it was all boats for the longest time. And unfortunately, that is not the case anymore. So it's a little less cool than what it once was. But now he's got some additional regiments joining the fray. So we got some engine masters, we got some balloon boys. But that's generally the gist of what's been going on in a nutshell.
No, that's a nice little narrative. Matt, what's your narrative?
So for me, anyone that watches the Big M's Power Hour, they know that I have this running, I don't know if you want to call it shtick or gag or whatever, about whenever Dispossessed get turned into a standalone army, and I just, as a placeholder name, call them Grugny's Reclaimers, which Neil is chomping at the bit to get a hold of. So I couldn't come up with a fleet name, and you kind of just used Grugny's Reclaimers, which is perfect.
Yeah, well, I had to write the freaking contract. I'm like, I need something. Fine, you're this, and it's history.
And that's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So essentially, what they are is they are in the lore, not in the rules, but they're part of Barrack Thring, and they essentially are going and finding ancient dwarven holds that happened, where dwarves started building before, like, allying themselves with the cities of Sigmar. Because the cities, the human mortals were in like mud huts.
Mhm.
I can only imagine dwarves would continue to dwarf and continue to make holds.
Right.
So they essentially try and find holds. They try and find old artifacts. They try and find, history. They even try and find places that they might be able to use as forward operating bases. Hide like some Aether engines in them in case of emergencies and things like that. And so that I even tie that in with my board. Because it is a dwarven hold that they are at.
Okay. I guess to give a little bit more in depth on my narrative, because that's a really, like I said, I love it. This is a good idea to end on this, Matt, because it's fun seeing what you guys have envisioned. Mine, like I said, currently right now, they rescued some, and they'll have to pay up at some point. I'm not sure what that is yet. They rescued the Terrathian cult from destruction because I did a narrative siege event with a campaign from White Dwarf, because where my temple for Terrathian cult was located was in the Brutos Hills. Ogres were overrunning it. We played the game out. I figured I was going to get Raffle stomped and the walls were going to go down. So I secretly brought KO. And the way I played that, of why there was a connection there, is because I had some cities of Sigmar who are more dark elf themed, but there's some dwarfs in there. And they made a connection with the KO. Matt was nice enough to give me an Arcanaut body, which is I made into a Rune Lord, which is why I'm bringing him, because he was a big pivotal part. So he's essentially he's a KO, but he's not a KO, and allowed the Terrathian cult to be rescued. So actually, GitCon was kind of like the start of it, and this will be the second part of it. But essentially, the Caradron are trying to safeguard the Terrathian fleet as they carry them to their new home, and they keep running into all these battles. So Nashcon's going to be another series of battles where they try and keep it out. Now, if I could, I'd ally in some Daughters of Cain, but you can't. So that's why there's the one on the boat. Just is what it is. But like I said, and then whatever happens with my games at Nashcon with my KO will springboard, one, the narrative for my Daughters of Cain, where their new home's going to be, and also I'm really enjoying the KO, and I want to see how the influence of a bunch of naked witch elves running around their boats has changed the dwarves to be like, this is weird. see where their story's gonna go, because there's some Cainite influence into the boat too, because it's kind of cool. Like, I had to make it different, but yeah. So that's kind of what it is. It's they're what was the movie? Transporter. I'm just doing Transporter the movie in Mortal Realms. But perfect. Well, I can't wait to see you guys in person in just a few days. Safe travels down,
Yeah.
safe flights. Neil, you can be designated driver, and we're gonna go take Amy out. We're gonna get completely wasted. You can drive us back. No.
That'd be hilarious. And I think it wouldn't be the first time she left the DNA in some downtown.
Good. I said, we'll see, because we're back. We come back Monday, so there's a good chance we still record next week. If it's delayed a week, don't be surprised. We're just tired and recovering. But hopefully the three of us will be here and we can do a post-show Nashcon. And if any of our other friends who are going down, Alex, Brad, Ben, any of them, manage to win a major award, we'll invite them on too to talk about what it's like to actually be good at this game.
Absolutely.
And like I said, the contract will be in hand. We'll sign it. We'll get it framed up, and then whoever wins gets to take it home.
Woo.
And then that person will have it in the next video. So take care, everybody. Stay Stormcast strong. Happy hobbying. And if you're at Nashcon, we'll see you soon. And I have the best KO army. I'm looking forward to that win.
Oh, I do. It's me.
Damn it.